YouTube? It's Above Average Cody, and I am fresh off my first ever Halo Infinite coaching session with G1 Eli the Ninja. And today, guys, I am bringing you the 3 most important things I took away from our hour and a half coaching session. And you guys know me, I like to dive right in. So the first and probably the best and most important thing he said was to do your 25%. Now, a lot of people may not even know what that could possibly mean. It sounds very subliminal, but it basically means there are 4 people on your team, guys, and this is a very team-oriented game. You're not going to win a game with one person pulling all the weight. You're not going to win a game with one person sitting in the spawn doing absolutely nothing. Everybody has to do their 25%, 1/4 or 1/4 of the work. If an entire team, each player puts in 25%, that of course equals 100%. Now, how does that translate to an individual's gameplay in Halo Infinite, guys? Now, of course, Eli did a perfect job of painting it out, but the best way I can describe it to you guys is if you are the first one going into a fight challenging, how much damage do you need to do? When should you chow to the death? When should you put it all out on the line? Frankly, 9 times out of 10, I don't think you have to put it all out on the line. Now, one area to look at is how much damage would one have to do if it was a perfect 4-man push. You literally have to get 2 of the players and do 50% of the damage. Because if you do this, guys, and everybody does that amount of damage, that equals 4 people dead. So if you think about it, that's what? 2 BR bursts per player? Alright, we're getting a little too technical here, but basically, the biggest thing to take away from this statement, guys, is do not always chase that kill. Do not always chow until you're dead, and you don't always have to take more damage than you have to. Sometimes it is as simple as jiggle peeking a wall, putting in a couple bursts, and then jumping into one very important thing he said to me is trust your teammates. If you are on a team, you are playing with a 4-stack, or you are just playing with some good friends in the ranked arena, guys, you have to trust those players to put in damage and get those kills. If you don't trust them, why are you lobbying up with them, guys? If they're not a good teammate and you know it, then they could be holding you back from getting better at this game. But if you trust your teammates, guys, to get in there and put in that 25% damage or effort or whatever the team needs in the game, then there should be no problem, and you do not have to chase that kill. You do not have to run up and get hit by that panic grenade. You can just put in a couple bursts and wait for your teammates to come in, because if you trust them and they're willing to do their 25%, guys, they're going to do that extra damage. They're going to put in those kills, and then once you get those kills, the map control is yours, the objective yours, and what have you. Now, that was a lot of talking for the first big takeaway, guys, but the second one, I promise you, is even more in-depth, and this one comes down to using your imagination, and that is how Eli put it to me. It is basically imagining what is breaking down on the map and operating off of that. Now, there's a lot of different ways I can explain this to you guys, but one of the most important situations this came up with was taking teammates' blind spots, and this applies to a couple different situations. Sometimes this could be just covering their back or covering over them with an angle that they cannot look at, because obviously everybody on the map can only look in one direction at a time, guys. You can have high sensitivity, you can flick around, but at any given moment, you are looking in one direction. So a lot of times you have to imagine what your teammate cannot see and try to be that extra set of eyes for your teammate to cover that blind spot. And then this could also apply to pushing an objective or a certain area on the map. If you have 2, 3, 4 people all funneling in one direction, this does not create a blind spot for the enemy team. This creates a situation where the enemy team is just all going to look in that one direction and just gun you all down one by one, hit multiple of you with the splash damage from the grenades, and it becomes very easy. Now, you have to imagine and look at where your teammates are pushing and try to fill in those gaps and then create an area where the enemy team has those blind spots. So you can kind of see how you're using the imagination on what the other people on the map can and can't see, and using it to your advantage so that you can fill in those gaps and either get the enemies to look at you so your teammates can put in some easy damage, or if the enemy's already looking at your teammate and you're pushing a different direction, be it going on a wrap or just pushing an off angle, you can get the easiest BR shots of your life, because let me tell you guys, it is never easier to put in damage than when the enemy is not shooting back at you. So use your imagination, guys. Take in everything that's going on around the map and try to take that either different route or different angle, such that you are not just getting blasted and you are not standing hip to hip with your teammate just getting hit by the same exact grenade. And the final big takeaway I got from my coaching session with Eli, guys, is not necessarily a tip he gave me, but something I took away from how he explained the game of Halo Infinite, and that is to take in 100% of what the game is telling you. And the best way I can kind of describe this is using an analogy. If you guys read a page of a book, are you only reading the 5 sentences in the middle of the page, or are you reading the entire page start to finish? I don't think I have to answer that one for you guys. So when I was listening to Eli and watching how he analyzed each moment of the game that we went over, which the gameplay in the background is actually the gameplay we used in the coaching session, he just instantly was on top of everything. He knew where the power weapons were, whether or not they were probably up on the wall. He instantly looked at how many grenades I had. There was one situation where I asked how he would handle one of the 1v1s that I lost, and instantly he's like, you had a plasma grenade in your pocket, I would have probably thrown that grenade. And meanwhile, in the moment that I had that plasma grenade, I probably did not even notice it was there. I had thrown one prior, and I probably did not even think about the one that I kept in my pocket, which I am intelligent enough to know I kept the grenade in my pocket, but actually using it and utilizing it in the situation you need it is a completely different thing. And then he's talking about the kill feed. Even though the kill feed still is on the screen, he's keeping in the back of his mind how many players on the map. The enemies are probably spawning here. You know, we're probably going to spawn there. And these are all very simple things to think about when you are playing the game. Of course, everybody knows the spawn control. Everybody knows to keep power weapons under control. But just how quickly and methodically he had all of these things in his mind at any given moment is just, it really shows how he takes in 100% of the game. And if you want to improve, you want to play this game at a top level or just a higher level than where you are at now, you need to be able to do that. It's very easy to do one thing at a time, but it is harder, and it requires a very good and a very smart player to be able to take in everything at the same time. And that is just something I really noticed Eli was doing while he was coaching, and I am positive with you guys, he is doing that when he is playing the game. He is doing that when he is talking to teammates, and just, it is very kind of motivating to see a player with that type of, I don't want to say brain power, and rest in peace, Brent. That is a legendary clip right there, me sticking with the plasma grenade. But it takes a very intelligent player to be able to do all of those things and keep all those things in mind. And that was one really big takeaway I took from Eli as an individual. So even though this is not a tip he gave me, it is something I noticed watching him. And again, I find that very motivating, and it forces you to think differently about the game of Halo Infinite. And let me tell you guys, it's harder to ego chow and run out and die constantly when you are constantly trying to think about all of these different things at once. And just using that to your advantage can turn you into one of the biggest brain Halo players out there on the maps or in the ranked arena. So yeah, guys, the entire coaching session is still up on the channel. Eli, the Ninja, was nice enough to do it live with me on Saturday's live stream. I left it up public on the channel, so if you guys want to see that entire coaching session from start to finish, it is on the channel, and I will also link it in the description of this video. And then tomorrow, I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on whether I think Halo Infinite or esports coaching is for you, and kind of talk about why I did not want coaching, and then what caused me to finally be ready for coaching. So we got a lot of good content coming this week, guys. So please subscribe to the channel. We literally upload every single day. We stream this 5 days a week, guys, and it is so much fun. We're working hard trying to get better and help you guys get better at the game as well. So hit that sub button, leave a like on the video, guys. It helps out a lot. And of course, leave a comment. What did you think about the coaching session? Did you get a lot of good takeaways? And what are you going to do with the information in this video? And then finally, guys, channel memberships, super thanks. If you'd like support monetarily, it helps me out ever so much as a creator. But please, do not feel like you have to. But alrighty, guys, this was a loaded video, a lot of good knowledge. I'm very excited to apply it and kind of go over it in more specific situations with you guys. And I just love going over the game of Halo Infinite, guys. But that does it for me. Stay happy, stay healthy, and stay tuned for the next video.